A kingdom engulfed with distress. A kingdom plagued with tragedy. A kingdom met with a terrible fate. A kingdom drowning in tears. It's been about a month since the name of the next Zelda installment was revealed, and yes, I know I'm a little late to the party, but I think I have some points of discussion that I don't see many people talking about. I think I have an idea as to what the name Tears of the Kingdom could mean or allude to. There has been much discussion on the name of the game, like these here being the tears from the title, and we have to collect them, or a tragedy befalling Hyrule Kingdom, and that's why there's sorrow in the kingdom. But I have another idea that goes a bit deeper. An idea that after doing much reading, finding similarities, and putting points together kinda makes sense. So I wanted to share with you all to see what you think and hopefully bring these points up for discussion so other people can look into this as well. My last series of Zelda videos touched heavily on the Japanese royal regalia as well as Japanese myth, and now I see a lot of other people talking about it as well, and I just think that's pretty awesome. So if you think these are interesting points, drop a like to help spread the word, and if you want to support the channel even further, I'd appreciate if you subscribe. This video is a little longer than my usual content, but there is a lot of important info that I could just not leave out. Trust me, I want to keep things short and simple, but with this, every little detail was important. So let's get started. Now, as we all know, the name for Tears of the Kingdom had been kept hidden for a while as to not give away too much information of what will happen in the game. When it was finally revealed, there weren't any clear directions as to what this new name meant. When first thinking about just what this title could mean, ideas that came to mind were the tragedies of Hyrule Kingdom, the sorrow of Hyrule Kingdom, the grief of Hyrule Kingdom. I also saw that people were also referring to this as like the sins of Hyrule Kingdom or the evil deeds that they had committed in the past and they tried to hush up. But after contemplating on this theme, it just didn't fit right with me. Something felt off. The idea of tragedy befalling Hyrule just didn't click with me. Yes, Hyrule has to forever deal with Ganon trying to rule and corrupt all that is good, but in the end, the hero always comes out victorious. For there to be tears, for there to be a tragedy, there can't be a happy ending. That is why I believe that this kingdom in the title is not referring to the kingdom of Hyrule. This kingdom in question is actually what we know as the tribe of the Zonai. We all know the Zonai were a powerful tribe that disappeared many years ago. We also know that there has been a lot of green magic floating around throughout all the trailers. And we also now see two dragons right in the title of the game. If this kingdom was actually Hyrule, I think the family crest would have been more fitting. So at this point, it's hard to say that they will not play a big role in Tears of the Kingdom. So this game's story is going to revolve around the tears, the tragedy, grief, sorrow that befell the Zonai Kingdom or the Zonai tribe. But I didn't want to stop there. I felt like there was a lot more to this, so I began to think. Zonai, tribe, dragon, and tragedy. Zonai, tribe, dragon, and tragedy. Zonai, tribe, dragon, and tragedy. And then it hit me. The Zonai share vast similarities with the real-world Aztec Empire. The Aztecs were a barbaric empire that were famous or infamous for their power. The Zonai are also considered a powerful barbaric tribe. One of the Aztec gods that was most venerated was Quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered serpent that looks like and is considered by many to be a dragon. The Zonai also venerate the dragons, as we see many dragon statues erected throughout the region. The Aztec Empire felt tragedy, were betrayed and murdered by a foreign power and eradicated as a tribe. Now, what if the Zonai met a similar fate at the hands of a foreign power? But what exactly happened? Since the Aztecs and Zonai hold so many similarities, I decided to take a look back into the history books to get an idea of what could have happened to the Zonai and what exactly Tears of the Kingdom could mean. And not to get you excited, but this can get interesting. So looking into the history books on the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, we know that Hernán Cortés was the conquistador that brought down the Aztecs. But there's a lot more to this story. Like, did you know that he did so against the direct orders of his superior, Velázquez, the governor of Cuba? Yep, he escaped Cuba with a crew and made his way to Mexico with the sole intention of conquering and making a name for himself. Upon arriving at Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztecs, he presented himself in a friendly manner to try to soothe the leaders and make his conquest easier. The Aztecs, however, saw through his devious intentions and kicked out Cortés and his men immediately. Well, not exactly kicked out. The Spanish did put up a fight, but they were considerably outnumbered, so their crew lost many men and it was a huge loss for Cortés. After his defeat, since Cortés couldn't return to Cuba because 1. He was deliberately insubordinate to his superior and would likely be executed, and 2. It was literally impossible since he burned down his ships to leave no other option but conquest. So what did Cortés do? He allied himself with other native tribes that rivaled the Aztecs, as well as some Aztecs themselves that were either promised false riches or were fed up with the Aztec way. Now, after amassing an army consisting of Spanish, rival tribes of the Aztecs and Aztecs themselves, they went back to Tenochtitlan with a plan, invaded, conquered, and eradicated the Aztec Empire. And thus, Hernán Cortés went down as a man who took down the Aztecs. Now, reading into this historic story, I began to think, what if this is the same story that we will see in Tears of the Kingdom? Now, you may be thinking, so the Kingdom of Hyrule were like Hernán Cortés in the sense that they were trying to conquer the Zonai, right? Well, not exactly. What I'm thinking is that Ganondorf is the one that's going to play that role. Ganondorf, although the Gerudo King, he still serves and is quote-unquote loyal to the royal family of Hyrule, much like we see in Ocarina of Time. We as a player know his true intention, his true nature, but in the Kingdom of Hyrule, he's on the same status as the King of the Zoras or the leader of the Gorons, so to some degree he is respected among the leaders of the kingdom. And it is because of this respect and this title that Ganondorf holds, he hears that a barbaric group from the southern regions of Hyrule have emerged and possess a very powerful type of magic. A magic that could aid him in his sinister plot to take over the land of Hyrule. Now, as to not go over anyone's head and to keep up this facade to hide his true intentions, he reaches out to the king or queen of Hyrule and tries to convince them that he should be in charge of taking down the Zonai as they are becoming too powerful and could potentially hold a threat against Hyrule. The king or queen know this is not a wise decision, so they don't entertain the idea. But knowing Ganondorf and his lust for power, he won't take no for an answer. He gathers his Gerudo troops and maybe even Sheikah that are like-minded, which then turn into the Yiga, and venture off to conquer the Zonai. Upon arriving with the Zonai, Ganondorf claims he's a representative of the Kingdom of Hyrule and wants to make some peaceful arrangements. The Zonai, however, see right through his plans, his true intentions, and his lust for power, and immediately ask him to leave their territory. Angered, Ganondorf puts up a fight against them, but like Hernán Cortés, he is outnumbered and is defeated. Furious, the Gerudo King builds a new army, uses his magic to corrupt members of the Zonai to side with him, and creates evil minions we now know as Moblins, Bokoblins, and the such. With a new army, Ganondorf is now much more powerful than ever. He invades the Zonai kingdom and defeats them. To not have to deal with the inconvenience of the Zonai rising up against him, he makes a plan to eliminate them as a whole. He then makes his way to Hyrule Castle to continue his conquest. Now, this is where the parallels end, and this next part is just pure speculation. But what if there's more? What if after Ganondorf's first unsuccessful attack, the Zonai send a representative to Hyrule Castle to get answers for their violent attack against them? What if this representative is one of the strongest, most courageous warriors the Zonai have ever seen? What if this warrior makes it to the castle only to be greeted with confusion as the royal family have not ordered said attack? They see this as the warrior trying to spread lies and give them a bad name, so they lock him up in the dungeon as he is seen as a threat. The princess, however, believes what this warrior is saying, as she has had a vision of a darkness spreading over the land due to the genocide of a civilization. She decides to free the warrior and they work together to try and defeat this darkness that looms. With Ganondorf soon making his way to Hyrule Castle, they come up with a plan to create a trap deep below. As his army approaches, the royal family assembles their troops to prepare for battle. And who do we see in the front lines of Ganondorf's army? None other than the Zonai tribe, being controlled by Ganondorf himself. This was Ganondorf's plan on how to eliminate the Zonai, all while using them as a distraction to finish his conquest. War breaks out, and the royal army easily takes out every single Zonai warrior. This is why in the Hyrulean history books, the Zonai went down as a barbaric tribe that Hyrule seemed to have dealt with. This is why this is the saddest night in Hyrule. This is why there are tears in the kingdom. Their whole legacy was built on a lie, molded by Ganondorf. Because of his lust for power, he killed off an entire civilization. Now at this point, the Zonai warrior and princess are aware that Ganondorf is just too powerful to eliminate, and that their only option is to imprison him. To put a stop to this overpowered Ganondorf, the warrior must use a type of magic that would require the ultimate sacrifice, his life. Being that selfless, courageous warrior that he is, he gives up his life to put an end to Ganondorf's evil, and thus the last Zonai perishes. The Zonai are no more. Now, do I wholeheartedly believe that this will happen? No, not really. Maybe there are some details that I talked about that we could see. But again, I saw the similarities that the Zonai shared with the Aztec, that I just had to put this information together. Maybe someone else is holding on to another piece of information that makes this speculation much more realistic. Maybe that someone is you. Let me know what you think of these ideas I shared. Do you have more to add, or am I just a crazy speculator? Let me know in the comments, either way. I know it's been quite a while since my last upload. Teaching started up again, and it's just been very difficult to get back to content creation. But I hope everyone's been doing good. I hope you're all still hyped for Tears of the Kingdom. I know I am. May cannot get here any sooner, and I just want a little bit more news. Hopefully we get some of that soon. I have more ideas for more videos, so I'll try my best to work on them to bring you guys all more content. You are always so great and receptive to what I put out, and I can't thank you all enough for it. I will try my best to be a little bit more consistent with my uploads, but with work and just life, I can't really promise anything. I hope you all understand. Thank you for being awesome as always. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you all, and I appreciate every single one of you. Till next time, guys, I do hope it's sooner than later. I'm Ace Monkey. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.